Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make salt art. It's just a fun activity to do at home with your family and your loved ones. Okay, so if you want, let's get started. So what we have here in front of us are the supplies for our salt paint art. Um, we have the box of cereal that we can use to paint the salt paint art for the background. We have scissors to cut it out. We have the pencil so that we can do some sketching. We have watercolor paint. We have salt, liquid glue, and markers, okay? The first thing that I want you guys to do is to cut out a piece of the cardboard box. So like I have here, a box of cereal or any kind of box dry goods that you have at home. You're just gonna cut the corners here, across here, and over here. And you're just gonna make a small square, just big enough to fit whatever kind of picture you want. If you don't want the box to be that big, that's fine. I prefer to pick this one because I feel like whatever I come up with, it's gonna be good for the drawing that I have settled once everything is done. Okay, so I finished cutting out my cardboard paper from my cereal box, Once I'm done, I decided to doodle something. It can be anything you want to draw, anything that you can think of, anything that you've been eating or using or watching. For example, during this time, have been eating a lot of fruit, so I decided to draw a little doodle of a grape. I'm just gonna finish it here. I'm gonna try to make the stem, and I'm gonna add a little bit of texture to it. And once I'm done, you need to next grab the color markers. I think this would be a really cool idea. It's not originally from what the lesson plan is supposed to be, but I think it would be really good if you do, in fact, take the color markers, trace your doodle, and when you're done, it is supposed to come out like so. When you're done with that, you're gonna next start tracing your sketch with glue. And you're gonna take your glue and you're gonna trace around all the parts of your drawing, just all around. You're gonna do it very carefully, nice and slow. Don't try to make any mistakes. Don't go over it a little too much. And that's what we're gonna go with next. Okay, so I put the glue on top of the picture. As you can see, it's not perfect. That's okay. It's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this entire activity is just for fun, for something to do at home. Next, I'm gonna grab my salt and I'm gonna just pour the salt all over. Think of it as when you are pouring glitter all over your work. You're gonna basically do the same thing. The salt is different, but this is what we're gonna do, okay? So I'm just pouring the salt all over my picture, just like I did with glitter. All over, make sure you get all the glue. I know your parents are gonna really hate you for using all their salt for an art activity, but just tell them, hey, I'm bored and I wanna do something at home. And B, I think salt is definitely in stock, It's not toilet paper or anything, right? That was a joke. But you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm just gonna keep pouring, make sure you get everything. Cover it all, make sure you're good. I think I have more than enough salt, so let me just stop real quick. Now that you're done, you're just gonna try to shake it up a bit. Get all of the excess salt out of the way. Okay. So do you see how we have just some leftover salt? We're just gonna try to get rid of it. Tap it a few times, okay? Get it all out of there. Don't get it mixed around with any corners. Tap it again. Get it out of there. We don't need extra salt. It's fine. You will be fine if you don't have extra salt. This is what we're gonna do next. We're gonna let it dry for a while. Salt is not the same as glitter. I know I told you that it's like putting glitter, but salt is actually a completely different texture. It's like similar to sand. It's just very granulated. So we're just gonna wait a long while, and we'll come back to paint our picture, okay? Okay, welcome back, guys. So I waited for the salt to dry As you can see, it can get pretty tricky. I recommend that you let it dry for as long as you possibly can, because salt is actually very delicate when it comes to glue. But when I did, I decided to just shade it in a little bit so that you can see what picture is gonna come out when I'm done with it. So now I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna take my watercolor, and I'm gonna take my water, and I'm gonna just start showing you how to paint it. So it's not necessarily painting, it's more of a dabbing. So I'm gonna start with my green. I'm gonna grab the green, I'm gonna put the water in. I'm gonna try to make my green watercolor paint as muddy as possible, and you'll see why. You don't want it to be too dry, because you're not technically painting, but you're dabbing the salt, and you're gonna watch the salt sink in. So I'm gonna put some more water in it. I'm gonna do this one more time. And I'm going to pick a spot, and I'm gonna touch, you see? And you're gonna watch the salt sink into the paint. Well, the paint sink into the salt, apologies. And I'm gonna grab some more water. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna dab, and it's just gonna sink right in on its own. So you don't really have to paint it, you just have to dab as delicately as possible, okay? I'm gonna do this again. It's just dabbing, we're being delicate. Don't try to get any salt into your watercolor paint, I don't recommend it. But again, we're just dabbing. We're gonna see what it looks like. This is our stem. Some of these pieces have broken off, as you can see. So when it dries off, if you want, you can go back, get some more glue, get some more salt, unfortunately, tell your mom and your dad, and do the process all over again if you want a complete picture, okay? I'm gonna go and get some purple. I'm gonna dry off my brush so I don't get any excess color in it. And I'm gonna grab my water again. I'm gonna make my paint muddy. Like I said, make it muddy. Get some water one more time. And I'm just gonna pick a spot, and I'm gonna watch the color sink in. Dabbing, just light dabs, very light, subtle. See, subtle. And you're just watching the color sink in. Just like that. I'm gonna grab some more paint. I'm gonna pick another spot. You're just doing it. The more water you have on your brush, the more it'll sink in, the more it'll take up. So that's a good thing, but you also want to be careful because you don't want too much water, because then see, you get some salt stuck and you lose some of your picture, and you don't want that. So you're gonna grab some again, and you're gonna let it sink in. We're just watching the colors go. Remember, don't put the brush too deep into the salt. Remember, the salt is sensitive. Don't forget that. I'm going to show you one more time. I'm going to pick another spot. I'm just gliding it. You can even glide it, but very lightly. Very, very light, very subtle. I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, so that when you're done, this can take a long time, but when you're done with everything, it should come out like so. See, that's not so bad. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be amazing. It's just something for you guys to do while you're at home, having fun, trying to keep it safe with your family, friends, and loved ones. And that's it for today. So take care.